I need y'all to pay attention to a historical pattern that almost nobody's talking about. Because every major empire in history, right before things start falling apart, does the same thing. They become something. Not stronger, not freer, not more democratic. Meaner, more paranoid, more obsessed with controlling people, more obsessed with enemies inside their own borders. And almost every single time, the people who lose rights first are the minorities, political descendants, religious minorities, the people easiest to scapegoat when the empire starts panicking. Rome did it, Britain did it, the Soviet Union did it, and right now, the United States is doing it. So let's start with Rome, because people love romanticizing Rome, right? The architecture, the soldier, the aesthetics, the little TikTok edits with the dramatic music, you know? But Rome got paranoid toward the end. In the late 200s and early 300s, the empire became deeply paranoid about the internal enemies. One of the groups they targeted heavily? Christians. Emperor Diocletian launched what historians now call the Great Persecution. Churches destroyed, sacred texts burned, Christians stripped of legal protections, removed from government and military positions, imprisoned, tortured, and executed publicly. Now, here's the part people miss. Rome did not do that at the height of its confidence. Rome did that while the empire was already destabilizing. Economic problems, political instability, leadership crises, internal fragmentation. The cruelty was not proof that the empire was strong. See, the cruelty was proof that the empire was scared. Rome fell less than 200 years later. Now we're going to jump forward. The British Empire controlled roughly a quarter of the planet at its peak. And what happened during its decline? Did Britain lose its grip? No, it squeezed harder. In India, British troops opened fire on unarmed Indian civilians, trapped in an enclosed area. Hundreds were killed. Then Kenya in the 1950s. The British built detention camps during the Mau Mau uprisings. People detained without trial. Torture, forced labor, beatings, executions. And Britain spent years trying to hide the records. That's another thing that empires do when they're panicking. They start destroying receipts. And despite all that violence, the empire still collapsed. Because repression is not stability, y'all. It is a symptom that stability is already gone. Now, the same thing with the Soviet Union. The closer the USSR got to collapse, the more paranoid the state became. Surveillance increased, dissidents monitored constantly. Critics labeled mentally ill and locked in psychiatric hospitals. Ethnic minorities targeted and deported. The government itself became obsessed with controlling internal thought, all because the system itself was weakening. And when the repression itself finally